Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Tracy in LA, the podcast. We're now on episode 29. I have found a shadier spot this time, which I'm excited about because I'm trying to keep my car off today because the sun isn't blaring through my windows. So we'll see how this goes. It's like 6 p.m. and I'm in the shade, feeling good. It's not cold by any means, but it is not sweltering hot, and I'm happy about that. I want to talk to you guys today about my money update. I don't think I talked about my money last time. I can't remember. Anyways, I just looked at my bank account before this, and I currently have $187, which sounds okay. I do have my car insurance bill coming up at the beginning of next month, like July 1st, and that will be about $100. I need to get gas soon, which will be about $50. And I probably need to get groceries soon. I do have some grocery money coming in on the 3rd on my CalFresh card, but it is not the 3rd yet. I don't know what the day is today, but it's not the 3rd, and I might need to get some groceries before then. So $187 is not a lot, is what I'm saying, because it's pretty much going to be all accounted for pretty soon. And I have no money coming in from anywhere that I know of coming up. So basically when these things happen, so what happened was this morning I went to get my oil changed, and every time I used to always pray there was nothing else wrong with my car, that they would only have to do the oil change. But I've been praying that a little bit less because they're checking out my car. My car is 8 years old, and if something needs to be done, I would like to know what it is and get it done to keep my car good and lasting a really long time. And I'm less concerned about money these days because I am in a Manna season, which sounds bad. Like, it sounds like I don't have money because, okay, I might need to explain the Manna season again because it's been a little while since I've explained that, in case anyone's chiming into this podcast and didn't listen to all the other ones. I am currently in a Manna season. Manna is like in the Bible with the Israelites when they were wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. God provided food for them out of the sky. It was called manna, and I don't really know if it fell from the sky. No, I think it did fall from the sky. And basically they could pick up enough of it for the day, but they couldn't pick up extra. Like, if they tried to save it for the next day, it would just go bad and like get rotten, except for on Saturdays or whatever the day was before the Sabbath day. So with the Sabbath day, they weren't supposed to collect the manna because that was like their day of rest. So the day before that, God would allow them to collect like 2 days worth of food, and it would not go bad. So it was obviously very much God, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. Like, how could something go bad overnight, but then one day of the week it doesn't go bad overnight and it lasts 2 days? It's because it was God. He was providing manna, so he was providing food for them every day, food as they needed it, and they had to fully depend on God. They couldn't save it up or make a plan. They had to just fully depend on God each day, and he was always going to provide, and he even provided for them to take a rest from the work of collecting it. So I keep telling you guys I'm in my manna season because that's what God has told me. This is not where everybody is at. So when I'm telling you about my life, it is not an instruction for how everyone should live right now. It could be for somebody else if God is also speaking to you the same thing. But right now, I very much feel God has told me I'm in a manna season in my entrepreneurial journey, doing the things I feel God has called me to do, which is this personal podcast, my dance journey podcast where I interview dancers, my books that I'm writing, training in dance, performing dance, and hopefully teaching dance again. That's what I feel God has told me to do. He led me to quit my corporate job of 8 years, and I thought I was going to just get another regular job, and that kept not working. And then I felt God very clearly speak to me other things he wanted me to do. I had savings for it at the time, which I didn't want to use, but I stepped out in faith to use it because I felt like God was telling me to use it, and I thought he would make everything I was doing be financially successful by the time my savings ran out, and that was not the case. So long story short, I was like, God, what do you want me to do? I need to get a job, obviously, and I felt like God said, no, I need you to keep going with what you're doing. And then he started providing for me like manna, like everything I need as I need it. It comes in from somewhere, from one of the odd jobs I have, from people donating, from some sort of miracle situation. And he just keeps providing. And it's so crazy. And every time I think maybe I'm getting out of the Manna season, maybe I'm finally able to build wealth, God is telling me, no, you're not quite out of it yet. And I want you to keep telling stories of how I provide for you. That's what I feel like he's been telling me. So when I went to get my oil changed, I'm like, I guess I didn't finish that story. When I went to get my oil changed, they also told me that I needed to get my driver belt changed or something. I already forget what it's called. But as they're talking to me on the phone about it, I'm like Googling on my computer because I was at Starbucks working on stuff. So I was on my computer and I'm like, okay, how many miles does a car have before we have to change the drive belt? And what's the average cost for changing a drive belt? And I'm like Googling all this as I'm asking him questions and trying to like stall so I can decide if I'm going to have him do this. Because I'm like, it'd be much easier for me to have them do this right now than to have to come back later. I was like, do you think I can wait any longer to get that change? He's like, you'd probably be good until your next oil change, but it is better to just get it done. And this mechanic that I've been going to for a long time, I trust them. I mean, they usually never try to get me to get things that I don't need because I've often asked around, talked to other people anytime they've told me I needed something. And they haven't even told me that I needed something for like years. I feel like it's been years since they told me. I feel like this whole time I've been on my entrepreneurial journey, I've only needed the oil change. And so that's been really cool. So the fact that they told me one thing finally, and when I Googled it, it seemed appropriate for how many miles are on my car, which is about 80,000. And it cost $800. No. It cost $180 about for that and the labor, which seemed on the lower end when I was Googling it. And then the oil change is like close to $100. So I paid about $280 today. I just went ahead and had them do it today because I am just too busy. And also, I would rather just get it done. I mean, I'm going to have to pay it at some point. And in my head, I'm like, I'm in the Manna season. Manna season is not a bad season. Like, it sounds like, oh, you're in a season where you have nothing. But God just keeps replenishing everything I need. So when all these things come up, I'm just like, okay, God. So you're going to have to pay for that. Like I had the money in my account, obviously. So thank you, Lord. But now I have $187 left, which means I still have been provided for. And I do have some things I have to pay for coming up, but I have the money for that. And then I'm probably going to need more money after that. And I don't know where more money is going to come from because currently I really don't have any regular type of work. It's just random. I sort of had a regular babysitting job, but I think that may be changing soon. So I really feel like God is just asking me to completely depend on him, whether it's odd jobs or people donating or miracle money, and just trust him and trust that he's going to provide. I do believe if God wants me to have any sort of regular job or other type of job, he is going to show me that. He's going to tell me, hey, I want you to apply here. I want you to talk to this person about this. Or he's going to bring the job to me. The amount of times he's brought jobs to me is crazy. But I'm in a season where I almost feel like God is challenging me to like turn down jobs. I don't know. It's very weird. You probably think I'm crazy, but I'm really trying to listen to the Holy Spirit. I'm really trying to follow what God's telling me to do. And all the stuff I'm doing right now takes all my time. I mean, I was up so late last night trying to work on editing a Dance Journey episode. That's taken me a while because some stuff happened with the audio and it's just been taking me longer than normal. And I am tired. I am working hard on it. And I kind of just wanted to like relax last night and like watch a movie. But I was like, no, I have so much going on the next few days. I need to finish this. Like, I need to get this to the person, get them to approve it. So I needed to go through it one more time. And so I was up late doing that last night. And sometimes I feel like I'm working so hard, I'm not even making money. But God was kind of reminding me, Tracy, you're working for me. Like, you work directly for me and I pay you. Have I not paid you for every single thing you need and even things that you want and even extra things you weren't expecting? Like, have I not been a good boss? Am I not paying you for this? It's like God literally sees everything I'm doing and all the work I'm doing. Nobody else needs to know or see that, but God does know and see that. I mean, if you have a regular job with a regular boss, you know, don't you hope that he or she would know how hard you're working or what you're doing if you're working really hard, and if you're not working really hard, you don't want them to know that. But with God, it's kind of like He knows everything. So he knows when you're working hard. He also knows when you're not working hard. Fortunately, God is so faithful, and I feel like he provides for me even when I screw up and even when I'm not working super hard. It's kind of like how you get your regular bi-weekly. I never know how to say that. Bi-weekly or bi-monthly? When you get paid every 2 weeks, is it bi-weekly? Or does bi-weekly mean twice a week? Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. But it's like a regular job when you get your regular check. It's like God is still going to give me my regular provision, even if sometimes I'm lazy and sometimes I don't do everything. He's still like super faithful like that, which is awesome. But also he really sees how hard I often work, which I do often work very hard at everything that he's told me to do. And today, as I was walking to the car place or walking from the car place to Starbucks or something, I just felt like God said to me in my head, Tracy, you're my favorite employee. I don't know. I feel like God just like jokes around with me sometimes. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but I really feel like once you really start to try listening to God, I feel like he's funny, or he knows how to reach you. So if you're funny, he's probably going to be funny with you. And he's just like, you're my favorite employee. And I'm like, thanks, God. I just feel like God is literally directly my boss, and he's just going to provide for everything. So I was able to just be really positive at the car place and be like, thanks for changing my drive belt or whatever it's called. And here's your $10,000. It wasn't $10,000, but that's what it feels like to me right now. I'm like, here's your $1 million. No problem. God's got it, and have a great day. I was able to just like be in a good mood and not be stressed. And I think I've talked about this before, that in the past, even when I had my regular corporate job where I was making decent money, I would go to the car place and be so stressed. Like, I don't have money. I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. Only tell me what's, for sure super needed, because like, I don't really have money right now. I mean, the way I would talk to the car people was so crazy when I had this like huge savings, but I was so obsessed with my budget that I felt like if I was already past my budget in some way, that like I didn't have the money, even though technically I did have the money. And now I don't have a savings, but I don't want to talk like I don't have money, because God provides for everything I need. So I don't really talk like that anymore. I'm just like, okay, here you go. I mean, I really feel like if God doesn't provide for me for something, it's because he's telling me not to do that thing, or he's telling me, hold on, I'm about to provide for it, or he's just directing me a different way, or he's going to give me an idea for how to make money for that thing. I don't know. He's going to provide and direct in some way, so I'm not worried about it. And if you don't hold so tightly to your own plan, you're much more free to not be stressed, because I'm like, God's plan is always better. So if there's something that I can't afford right now, then I'm going to talk to God about it. Maybe he doesn't want me to do that thing anymore. Maybe he, like when I couldn't, I wasn't always having the rent money in my last place, and God ended up moving me to a new place where I'm basically getting a free rent. And that's where I really feel like I'm supposed to be right now. And that wouldn't have happened if God provided for me the money I needed for rent and things. I mean, there were a lot of reasons that switch happened, but that was one of them. Like, I wasn't getting the money that I needed for rent. And it's so crazy because right after I moved, God provided all this money to me. And I just felt like God was like, time for a new season, time for you to move over here. So often we're trying to figure out why things are happening, why are these things changing, what's going on. You're trying to analyze it, figure it out. But a lot of times it's just God transitioning you into like a new season or something like that, or he wants you somewhere else, or he wants you around different people, or I don't know. So I'm trying to get better about not analyzing things so much and just kind of giving it to God and like praying about things, but then being like, okay, at the end of the day, God, you know what's going on. I just don't know. I'm a human. I only know so much, and things that I think I know probably aren't even right anyways. So I'm just going to trust you and keep going with my life. So anyway, all these things came up where I needed to pay all this money recently. I'm also not getting as many free dance classes as I was before. And so I've been praying about that. Like, God, where do you want me to take dance class? What do you want me to do here? And so far, I don't really feel like there's anything I'm supposed to change, except I am going to soon start checking out the ballet studio that's near my house, but I'm house sitting right now, so I'm not near my house, so I haven't done that yet. And then possibly check out a couple other studios near my house that are a little bit cheaper and like see what they're about. But for now, I'm still going to my regular classes and just trusting God's going to provide. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm kind of like, wow, I'm spending a lot of money right now. I guess that means God must have a lot of money coming in soon. Like, instead of getting stressed about it, I'm just like, God must have a plan for some money to come in soon. I wonder what he's going to do. I'm just like curious. I'm like, is he going to put it on someone's heart to give me like $1,000? Or is he going to, all of a sudden have the things I'm doing make money? It's funny because I was at Starbucks this morning. I don't usually work at Starbucks because, I used to work at Starbucks a long time ago for like 8 years through high school and college. I don't usually do my entrepreneurial work at Starbucks or at any coffee shop because A, I'm not trying to spend money on random things I don't need. B, I generally like to work at home because like, what if I have to go to the bathroom or something? I don't want to like leave my laptop and then have to like ask somebody to watch it, or like I have to grab all my stuff, put it all back together in my backpack and then go to the bathroom and then come back out, or like it's just more comfortable, like be at home. I don't need to be out doing stuff with other people I don't know around me. And I don't drink coffee, and coffee shops are the main place that you do stuff like that. And I like the ambiance of Starbucks and the fact that they have a lot of outlets and things like that, but there's really like nothing I can eat or drink there besides ice water. It is my favorite water, but if I go in and just get a water, they're kind of like, you're not paying anything and you're going to sit here and do your work. But it's really not because I'm trying not to pay for anything. It's because I really cannot have anything there except their ice water. But I also like love their ice water. I'm like, can I give you a couple of dollars to get this ice water and do my work here? I do usually get breakfast sandwich, the sausage breakfast sandwich without cheese. I tend not to eat beef, so I really can't even have that either, but I've been eating beef a little more lately, and it seems fine. My stomach used to be kind of sensitive to that, but it seems my stomach is freaking awesome lately. Let me just tell you. Okay, I'm getting like all this sun on my face again. I thought that maybe it was going to be better today in the shade, but I'm still getting these weird like triangles on my face. Sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, my stomach is freaking amazing lately. Like, if you know me, you know that I spent a lot of my life with stomach issues, digestion issues. Like, I'm sensitive to a zillion foods, and I'm still sensitive to certain foods, but like, there's certain seasons in my life where my stomach feels like it is perfect. Like, everything is happening perfectly in my stomach. And I had that a while ago, but it's been years since I've felt like that. And ever since I moved to my new place with all the dogs and all the chickens and my friends, and the dogs and the chickens are also my friends, my stomach has been like perfect. I don't even know like what is going on, but I've been able to eat beef and pork a little more lately and stuff like that. And my stomach's like, you're good, all good. I'm like, wow, that is amazing. So I don't really know what the reason is. It seems that perhaps my anxiety level is down. I really think a lot of it's anxiety, and I should have more anxiety considering I'm in this crazy Manna season, but I don't know, maybe being around a lot of animals, my friends that fully support me, and just seeing God come through a million times in a row. So my stress level is down because I'm like, he's just going to come through again. Maybe that is what's helping my stomach. I have no idea. Anyway, why was I talking about my stomach? Oh, I don't know. But, because at Starbucks, yeah, I got the breakfast sandwich. I still am trying not to eat cheese. I did experiment with eating cheese the other day because sometimes I'm like, is my stomach super good? Can I eat anything now? And so I did have something with cheese the other day, and it was not. I didn't feel great after that. So I'm still not eating like cheese or dairy, really. If there's like traces of milk in something, it's fine, but I'm not going to eat that stuff. But anyway, so I do have them remove the cheese off the sausage breakfast sandwich, but the sausage seems fine. It's not a big deal. I mean, those breakfast sandwiches, like, they come frozen. I mean, it's not the best thing, but I'm going to get their amazing ice water, which I love. So I got the amazing ice water, got the breakfast sandwich because I was hungry for breakfast because I left really early this morning because I wanted to get my oil change or whatever else they needed to do done so I could still make it to my regular class today. So yeah, anyways, my point is I was sitting at Starbucks working on dance journey stuff. I was actually just trying to get it all organized. I haven't scheduled anyone new for a while because I was so far behind in editing all of them. Everything was taking me a long time. And so finally, last night I stayed up late, finally finished this person's episode. Now I just need to wait on them to watch it and see if I need to take anything else out that they want taken out and also make some clips and things like that. But for the most part, it's done. So I was like, okay, I'm going to finally schedule people. Usually I would still schedule people even when I'm not done editing, but it's just taken me so long to catch up and it makes me a little stressed. So I'm like, I'm going to wait till I'm done and I feel like I can really focus on new people and stuff like that. So I was kind of going through my Excel spreadsheet that's for the Dance Journey podcast, which just shows like all the people I have scheduled, the people I have asked, the people I need to follow up with. and dates of things. It just wasn't even updated. So I was just kind of filling it in with the dates that things were shot and when I released. I just like to have everything in order and organized and keep track of everything. And then I also like to send people a copy of the podcast release waiver. And also I like to send thank you cards. That's something I really enjoy doing. I know it's like so old school, thank you card in the mail, but I really like writing little letters to every person that I interview. But I was really behind on that. So I was updating the schedule and writing thank you cards at Starbucks. And so I have my computer open. I have all these thank you cards and addresses, and I'm like going through everything and taking my time. And then I had reached out to a couple people I wanted to follow up with about doing podcast shoots soon. And one of the people just called me back. Like I texted them or messaged them on Instagram or something, and they just like called my phone. I was like, oh my gosh, she's calling me. It's like so rare these days. But I was like, okay, I guess I can pick up the phone here. And so I picked up the phone. I'm talking to her. She's like, I want to do it, but I'm sort of kind of nervous. And like, I don't know if I really have enough to say about it. And so I was kind of encouraging her, like, no, you totally do. Oh my gosh, your life is so interesting with dance. And anyways, we can kind of just talk about anything. It doesn't have to be like dance, 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 dance. And so I'm trying to encourage her. And I'm like, the amount of people that tell me they have nothing to say and then we talk for like 3 hours, like, I'm kind of exaggerating, but I'm having this whole conversation to like pep talk her into it. And we're talking about what class we might take and that type of thing. And it was kind of cool because I got off the phone and I was just like, I felt like, oh my gosh, look at me with my little business at Starbucks. Like, I was like, this is what people do. They go to Starbucks and they just like have their little business and they're like answering their business calls and they're on their computer doing business. And look at me. That's what I'm doing. I'm here. I have my Excel spreadsheet. I have my thank you cards and I'm answering my business calls and people are hearing me talk about my business on the phone. I was like, this couldn't be any more a business except if it was making money. That would make it more of a business. I was like, I feel like such a businesswoman here hanging out at Starbucks doing this. I'm like, I can see why people go to coffee shops and do their work, because I will say I feel like I got a lot more done at the coffee shop than I do when I'm at home. I do think being at home, I do get a little sleepy. I'm sitting there, I get sleepy. And it's not because I had caffeine at Starbucks. I didn't drink any coffee. I just drank the ice water. But for some reason, just like people around you and the music playing, that playlist was so freaking good at Starbucks. I should have asked them what it was or how I can get it. I should just Google or go on Spotify and look up Starbucks playlist or something. I actually do really miss the music at Starbucks from when I worked at Starbucks. I always really liked the music they played there. I was like, dang, haven't heard this song in a while. Haven't heard this song in a while. That was pumping me up. I was writing those thank you cards. I'm like, wow, I've never wrote like 7 thank you cards in a row and actually felt sincerely energized for each one that I wrote. Usually I'm like, Tracy, just stop. It's too many at once. You're not going to sound authentic anymore because you're just like rushing. So I will put them off and do them later. But this time I felt authentic and sincere with like all 6 or 7 that I wrote at Starbucks. And I was just like really plowing through and getting everything done. I was like, dang, this is worth the $5, $6 because I gave a little tip. It was worth the $6 for this frozen Starbucks sandwich so that I could get all this work done. And then my car got done kind of early, but I actually asked them if it was okay if I could pick it up a little later because I wanted to finish my work, which was amazing. So that was awesome. It was a good morning, spent money at Starbucks, spent money on my car. And I'm like, okay, God, feel free to rain down the new money whenever you want. I'm right here. You know where I'm at. You know where I live. You know where I house sit. You know where my car's at. You know where I am at all times. So you can just bring it to me wherever I am. I could be parked on some random street in the random shade shooting this podcast, and I could open my door and there could be a $100 bill right there. I hope there is. I hope that happens right now after this. Anyway, what else was I going to talk about? Oh, speaking of money, I had quite a few things I was going to talk about before last week's episode, but then I just talked about the show the whole time pretty much. But I had this moment. I went to the grocery store. First of all, okay, I'm the type of person that I just like to be comfortable with like the clothes I wear and stuff. I mean, you could probably tell because like I don't really wear makeup. I'm not gonna like choose style over comfort most of the time. I'm just like, these are the shirts I always wear because I'm the most comfortable in them. Like I do like clothes and style, and when I had more money in the past, I did enjoy shopping for clothes and that type of thing, and I definitely put more effort into that when I was younger. But I do still like clothes and stuff, but like I just want to feel comfortable. If something looks super cute, but it's not comfortable, I'm like, not worth it, you know? And I'm not going to wear like heels, like that's not comfortable, you know? But I don't know what happened that day, but I was just going to go to the grocery store, but I felt like I was supposed to dress cute. Or I almost felt like God told me, why don't you just wear something cute today? Why don't you like have fun and like wear one of your cute outfits that you brought? Because I did bring like a few cute outfits. I'm house sitting for 3 weeks. And I was like, yeah, I will wear something cute. So I have a friend that recently gave me some of her clothes. It's really cute. It's not as much my style or what I usually wear. Something that's cool about just getting clothes from people is it kind of pushes you to wear things you might not have actually picked out for yourself at the store, but actually it could be really cute and cool on you. So it's one of those like outfits, and it's sort of like this jumper situation. It's not like it's anything fancy. It's just like not what I usually wear, and it's like kind of cute. So I put that on, and I even wore some like sandal-y wedge type situations on my feet, which those are cute. I don't wear them a lot. I usually just wear my junky sneakers, especially if I'm just going to the store. But I put on kind of my cute shoes. I think I put on a little bit of like reddish lip situation, and I was just like, okay, I feel good today. I was like, this is fun. Why don't I try to dress cute more? Maybe because I don't have enough things that I like in this type of way. But anyway, I just like got cute for no reason. Started walking into a Ralph's. I was walking to the Ralph's. There was a guy sitting outside, and before he even said anything to me, I felt like God said, give him some money. Give him the money that you have. That's what I feel like God said. And here we are in this Manna season. I'm like, well, if boss says to give someone money, then I don't have to worry about like not having money because I gave him money, because that's what my boss said. He told me to give him money, so he's going to give me the money back. Literally, the sun is so crazy on my mouth. Hopefully you guys are listening and not watching this because it looks so nuts. I have to stop doing this podcast late in the day close to sunset time because this is what happens. The sun just keeps changing and then it looks so crazy on my face. But anyways, yeah, I felt like he said, give this guy your money. And as I was coming closer to the guy and considering if I was going to listen to God or not, he said, excuse me, do you have any spare change or something like that? And I was like, sure. I knew I had some cash. I wasn't sure what I had. So I opened my wallet. It was funny how I was just like, sure, because I already knew I was like supposed to give him something. So I opened my wallet. I had $3. So I gave him $3 and he was like, thank you. And I was like, no problem. And then I went, as I was going into the grocery store, oh yeah, I wasn't even getting groceries. I just had to pick up like one thing for someone. I was getting a gift card for somebody. And so I was going in there and God was like, give him more money than that. Like, get some money back when you buy your gift card. Give him like $20. I really felt like God said, give him $20. I was like, okay. No problem, Lord. No problem, boss. I mean, you're giving me this back, right? So we're good. So I bought my gift card. Okay, so this is what's funny. I was like, oh yeah, I can pay with a debit card and get money back, right? Like I have literally not done that in a while. So I was like asking the cashier. And he's like, yeah. And then I don't even know what happened. I can't remember because it was kind of a while ago now. But cashier guy was like kind of flirting with me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I look kind of cute today. He was kind of being like super nice to me, and like it seemed like a slightly flirty way, but not like, it wasn't like creepy. It was just like he seemed really extra nice. And then he was like, he literally just goes, you look really nice. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this why people get dressed up? Because like people say stuff like that? Because that is so nice, actually. Just like this random cashier at Ralph's, but it really like made me feel good. And I was like, thank you. And he's like, is that like, okay, the design that I was wearing, I'm not even going to talk about it because I don't want you guys to like see me wearing this and be like, oh, that's the outfit Tracy was talking about. It's not even cute. Like, so, but basically he pointed out like the design on my clothes. and was like, I really like that. It's like, and it's such a nice color. I was like, thank you. I really like it too. And actually somebody just like gave this to me. He's like, oh, that's awesome. And so we were just like chatting up for a little bit. I actually felt like his coworkers were kind of like smiling at him because he was kind of like obviously flirting with me. And I loved it, honestly. I haven't been flirted with in like a really long time. So I was like, that was like I almost would have gone out with that guy if he asked me out. I was like, thank you for noticing me and like saying something nice to me. I will go to dinner with you. Like, what if I said that? He didn't even ask me to dinner. And he's like, wait, I wasn't asking you. But literally, it felt really nice. And I was like, I should look cute more often. And then what did I do after that? I don't think I ever wore anything cute after that for like 2 weeks. But anyways, whatever. I just like to be comfortable. But sometimes maybe I'll try to look cute again because that was pretty fun. And then I just went home and I looked cute by myself in my house for the rest of the day. I think I took a while to like actually take everything off because I was like, I kind of just like look feeling cute by myself. So anyway, yeah, that was my other story about money / looking cute. And I think that sometimes God just tells us to do things because he just wants to bless us. He just knew that like I was going to have a fun day looking cute. It wasn't like, I don't know. I think like we think that God is going to tell us to do things and it's going to be so terrible and it's always going to be like so sacrificial and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I even felt good giving that guy money. I was like, cool. Yeah, I don't have to act like I'm so poor. Like God provides everything I need. So I'm kind of rich in that way. So I'm just going to give him this and like be happy to be able to help him a little bit. And I probably should have prayed for him or something so that he could get more and get everything he needs. But I kind of forgot to do that. Maybe I'll do that later. Anyways, that's kind of all my money updates. I guess I wanted to tell you guys about Toy Story. I'm supposed to see Toy Story 5 soon. My friend is dancing as Buzz Lightyear in Hollywood at a venue there where they're going to have the Toy Story characters dance in the beginning and then they're going to play the movie. So I am supposed to see that. I need to check in with him about my tickets, but I'm supposed to go see that, so that'll be fun. But I did catch up with all the Toy Stories. So I watched Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4, and I did have some thoughts on it, but I took a lot of notes because now it's been kind of a while since I watched it. So hopefully I can explain this okay. But Toy Story 3, I felt like that really went along with what I talked about a couple episodes ago, about unconditional love, like trying to love people just for who they are and not even for who they are, just love people just to love people versus loving them because of something they did or because of something we want them to do back or because of whatever we want from them, just loving them to love them. And I feel like I really saw that in Toy Story 3 because Toy Story 3 is the Toy Story where a million years passes between Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3, which is kind of confusing because like no years pass between Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4. So that's kind of weird how they do that. And I was like Googling about it because I was confused. But anyways, Toy Story 3 is when Andy, the main child who has all the toys that the movie's about, he is going to college. So he hasn't been playing with his toys for a long time and they've been stuck in their little toy chest or whatever. And Woody, the main toy, the cowboy toy, that's hard to say. Cowboy toy. I feel like, did you used to, when you were young, have to say, or your friends, and you would try to say toy boat a lot of times in a row? Toy boat. It's like really hard to say. Anyway, cowboy toy. I feel like that's also hard to say. Anyways, I'm so hyper today for some reason. Woody was like, we need to stay true to Andy, basically. Even if he's going to keep us in the attic until he gets married and has his own kids, we need to stay true to Andy. And I guess they all the toys accidentally got donated to this like daycare, but they weren't really supposed to. They were supposed to go in the attic. And Woody's the only one that saw that they were supposed to go in the attic, but that the mom the boy put the toys in the wrong bag that the mom thought was going to the donation pile. And so Woody was trying to tell the other toys, no, Andy was going to put you in the attic. Like, we need to get back to Andy. He wants us in the attic. We need to be there for him. So they literally wanted to be there for Andy, even though he wasn't even going to play with them. He would just wanted to be loyal to Andy because he might use them for his own kids or whatever. And Andy's like the person that they're loyal to. But the other toys were like, first of all, they were like, no, he doesn't want us anymore. So they were all like being all victim-y and like, he doesn't love us anymore. We don't care. Plus they're like, we're going to be at this daycare. We're going to get played with here. This is going to be great. And Woody's like all distraught. Like, no, we're supposed to be with Andy. And then Woody, somehow, I forget how because it's been a little while since I watched it, but he ends up, spoiler alert, if you like haven't seen Toy Story 3, just don't watch this or fast forward a little bit. But anyway, Woody ends up with Bonnie, who's like the daycare owner's little girl or something. Somehow she finds him. And so Bonnie is actually really great with toys. She really loves her toys. So he ends up meeting Bonnie's other toys, and Bonnie has such a fun time playing with all of them, and she loves Woody, and it's really nice. Woody actually really likes it. He hasn't been played with in a really long time because Andy hasn't cared about them because he got older. And so it was really nice being with Bonnie and the other toys. But Andy's still having a hard time. Woody's still having a hard time because he's like, I need to get back to Andy, though. Like, I'm having fun here. This is great. But, like, I need to be true to Andy. And he wants to unconditionally love Andy, even though Andy's not going to give him as great of a time as, like, Bonnie is. But he's like, no, Andy's, like, my owner. I have to get back to Andy. And so because he did that and did the right thing. So this is, like, such a good message. This is why I like the Toy Story movies. I hope Toy Story 5 also has a good message. But he chose to do the right thing versus just, like, what was going to make him the most happy in that moment. And because of that, he ends up being able to save basically all the other toys at the daycare, because the daycare actually ends up being like a really bad place where it's run by this like cruel toy. And then there's so many creepy characters in the Toy Story movies, but who kind of seem like happy and nice, but then they're like cruel. It's kind of scary. But anyways, the daycare is kind of not a great place, and he ends up being able to like help all his other toy friends get out of there. They do get back to Andy, and then I don't really remember exactly what happens, but he ends up giving all of them to Bonnie, the girl that is really good with all her toys. And so it ends up working out for everybody because now Woody still gets to be with Bonnie and gets to be played with, but he has all his other toy friends with him, so it's way better. So if he hadn't done the right thing, terrible things would have happened to his other toys, his usual friends, and he wouldn't have been able to like really live his life joyfully. He also wouldn't have felt good about like not being true to Andy. So Andy was able to be true to Andy, and then Andy gave all of them to Bonnie anyways. And then Andy had like one last time playing with Bonnie with the toys towards the end of the movie. It was so cute. I'm like, oh my gosh. And now look, they're being loved by Andy, and they're going to be loved by this other little girl, all because they did the right thing. We're trying to be true to Andy. I was just like, oh, love it. Then I watched Toy Story 4. This one was also interesting to me. So they keep talking about listening to your inner voice, because Woody talks about how he like tries to do the right thing by listening to his inner voice. And then Buzz Lightyear is trying to figure out like what that means. Like, what does it mean to listen to your inner voice? And I really like this conversation because, you know, whether you believe in the Holy Spirit or not, or you just think it's your conscience, or you just think it's your inner voice, whatever you want to call it, I do think there is an inner voice, and we do need to listen to that. And we do need to discern if it's the Holy Spirit. Is it God, or is it just our own self telling us something that's actually not true and we're just like believing it? Or is it literally like Satan or some sort of demonic thing telling us lies that we're believing? So that's why I think it's important to read the Bible, stay in the Word, be around people that also speak truth, so that you don't start believing lies that Satan wants you to believe, or that even you're saying about yourself that aren't true. And so I think it's listening to the true inner voice, not just like any inner voice. There's going to be a lot of voices in our head sometimes, but figuring out what the real inner voice is. And for me, I would say that's the Holy Spirit, or that's God, which is the Holy Spirit. And God is three persons in one: the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. I think I explained this. I explained the Trinity in another episode, so go back. I have no idea when I talked about that, because half the time I don't even know what I'm going to talk about in this podcast. I think that episode, when I ended it, I was like, did I just explain the Trinity? What the heck happened? When I'm talking a lot about God or Jesus, I'm going to tell you, most of the time, 80% of the time, that is not planned. And I shut it off, and I'm like, did I just like share the gospel on my podcast? Like, I literally don't know what's going on. That's why I think that God like told me to do this, because half the time I'm like, I'm pretty sure God like had me speak all these things that I literally like didn't even know were going to come out of me. That was like not on my bullet point outline. Anyway, so I loved all the talk about your inner voice in Toy Story 4. And then the thing that really stood out to me, okay, first of all, Toy Story 4 is so creepy. It's like so scary. There are these really scary toys in this like antique toy store, and there's these ventriloquist dummies that are super creepy. And then there's this like little baby girl doll who's like, hi. And then she ends up being like this super creepy character that wants to steal Woody's voice box because her like voice box that's supposed to make the doll speak like doesn't work anymore, and she feels like she can't be loved. She's not going to be loved by this little girl that she really wants to love her if she doesn't have a working voice box. Oh my gosh. That was such a good message too. Like, we think we need a certain thing so that someone will love us. And it's so crazy because she ended up getting the voice box from Woody, and then that girl still didn't care about her. That girl noticed her for a second, and then she just kind of like threw her to the side and was like, I don't care. I don't want her. I was like, oh man, the whole movie she just wanted that voice box because she wanted to be loved. I actually think so many of us do that. We think we need this thing. We don't even know why we're striving after something, you know, to be the best dancer in the world, to be the best magician. I have no idea why I said that. The best chef, the most money, the best investor. I don't know. Whatever you're like striving to get, most likely there's like a deeper inner need that you think that that thing is going to make you feel loved or something, because that's really what we want. Is we want love. That's why God is the answer for everything, because God is the only one that perfectly loves us. Like, we sinned, we did all this bad stuff towards God, and he literally died to save us and give us eternal life while we were treating him badly, while we were sinners. He still loved us unconditionally. He loves us perfectly. So even your best, closest friend who tries to love you as best they can is going to screw up. They're not going to love you perfectly. And everything is going to let you down except for God. And he's going to love you whether you have your stuff together or not. Like, you could be the worst dancer in every dance studio that you go to, and God is still going to think you're amazing and love you and just be happy about you and happy with whatever you're doing. And he chooses us. Like, we all want to be chosen in dance class. We want to be called out. We want to get the good part, blah, 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 blah. And that's cool. Like, it's cool to be challenged and grow and get better and be noticed. Like, I'm not saying that's bad, but like, that's not where our worth comes from. And that's not where we get like true love. Like, someone who thinks you're a good dancer doesn't necessarily like love you with real love. They might think you're a good dancer and also love you with real love. But like, it just doesn't equate to that, you know? And I just think we're all often striving for something because we think that's the thing that's going to make someone love us. We want to look a certain way, like beauty products and doing things to our bodies to make us look a certain way. Why do we care so much about that? Because we want to be loved. We want people to love us. We want a certain person to love us. We want everybody to love us, whatever. And people value looks like really highly, and often will notice people or show attention to people because of the way they look. I feel like I'm going on a tangent here. I still have more to say about Toy Story 4, but for instance, like on Instagram, you know, you're going to get more likes if you look a certain way because people are just like, oh, I even find myself doing that. I don't even think I'm doing that. But it's like, yeah, if a reel or a story or something looks a certain way and a person looks a certain way, it's not so much that I'm like, oh, they look good, like, but like your eyes just are kind of drawn to it. It just feels like aesthetically pleasing and you're like, I like that. I don't even know why I like that. But yeah, when people look good or things look a certain way, you're like drawn to that. And so people want to get love, so they're doing all these things a certain way so they can get the love that they're craving, and they don't realize they could just find that in God, and then they could just be free to be themselves and don't have to feel like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to be striving, da-da-da. You can actually like relax if you're just like chilling with God in your life, because then you just listen to him, and he's so amazing, and he wants the best for you. He actually loves you for you, and like to give you the best, and to help you be used to help others, like to give you purpose, to serve him, to serve others, to use your skills like in a positive, purposeful way. Like, God cares about us so much. He loves us so much. And we're striving to get love from other people. And we're doing these things that aren't even, they might not even really love us because of that thing. They might just like put more likes on Instagram, but they might not actually love us. I was just thinking about likes on Instagram, and I wanted to talk about this. I don't have the answer for this. This is one of those things, again, where it's just like, I kind of want to hear people's thoughts. Nobody ever comments. I mean, people don't really comment on podcasts, but they do on YouTube sometimes. So if you ever want to comment on YouTube, now that this is on YouTube, please share your thoughts, because on Instagram, we all want to get likes, blah, blah, blah. And people are often like, show me some love. Thanks for the love, guys, when they get like a lot of likes, or, you know, they put in their story, show me some love on this reel. And it's just like making me think about it, because I'm like, love, liking an Instagram reel, that takes like no effort. Like literally, you could be half out of it on your couch, drunk. I don't know why I said that. You could be half asleep. You could be like, you could have like drool coming out of your mouth, and you could be scrolling through Instagram, and you could watch the first half second of a video and just be like, you might even not even watch the whole video. You might just be like, oh, like, you might even know why you liked it. Maybe you like that person. Maybe you don't. Maybe you accidentally hit the like. Like, it's literally like your thumb or your finger. It takes less than a second to do it. It takes no effort. You don't have to get up. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to watch the video to like it. And we look at Instagram and we're like, oh my gosh, I got so many likes. Or we're like, why isn't anyone liking this? Like, we feel more loved when we get a lot of likes, and we feel less loved when we don't get a lot of likes. And I just want to be like, likes is not love. Like, love is like effort. Love is like selfless. Love is when you really do something for somebody else, you know? And I'm preaching to myself about this. I was just thinking about it because I'm curious about other people's thoughts of this, because I like likes as well. I also get this like feeling of love if I get a lot of likes. But then I'm like, who even are these people? And did anyone even watch this video? Like, recently I got a lot of likes because of this song. It really was because of the song that the choreography was to, because it was a popular song and it just came out. And so probably people heard the song when they watched my reel for like a few seconds and then just liked it because everyone likes this song. I'm like, this was not my best dance video. There's definitely other videos that are better than this. There's videos that I like better than this. This was not my best dancing by any means. But I got all these likes because people like this song. So that's cool. I'm not against that. I'm just saying, like, it does give you this feeling of love. But I'm like, wait, but this isn't like real love though. And I still think it's nice to like people's stuff or to make comments. I mean, if someone really watches your whole video and like makes a comment about like something you did at the end of your video, I'm like, whoa, they like really watched it. I will say that that kind of hits me a certain way. Like, wow, the effort they put in, because I don't always watch the whole video. I try not to be insincere when I like someone's stuff. I try to only like what I actually like, because even if I like a certain person, I might not like every single thing they post, and I don't want to be like a fake person. But I don't always watch the full video just because, like, there's so much stuff on Instagram and I don't really always have time to watch, like, everybody's full video. But sometimes I try to get myself to just, like, chill. I'm like, Tracy, why don't you just, like, watch this whole video instead of just watching half of it or a third of it or whatever. Or maybe it's something that I already saw in class, so I already have seen it and I don't necessarily need to watch the video. But when people watch the whole video and like comment on something specific, I'm like, dang, I'm inspired. I should be doing that more as well. Like, I'm not gonna have time to do that for everybody, but that is a nice thing to do sometimes. And that to me does require a little bit more effort, especially in like these scrolling times where it's so easy to just be like, scroll, 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 scroll. To really stop and look at something and think about what someone's doing and notice something, that's like, wow, I need to do that more. But anyway, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like real things in real life you do for people to show love to them, you know? Sacrificing something you wanted to do for something they wanted to do, or just taking time for someone who's going through a hard time, listening to them, seeing how you can be there for them, like in a tangible way, whether by being a really good listener, offering advice or wisdom, or like providing a tangible need for them, you know? So I just wanted to throw that topic out there. Like, we're all just trying so hard to be loved, but really God's the only one that can love us perfectly. And a way that we can help love circulate more is just by loving other people the way that we would want to be loved. So that's literally the biggest command in the Bible, is like, love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. So like, how do you want to be loved? What makes you feel loved? Do that for other people. Like, that's what we're supposed to do. And I'm going to say that, like, the Bible also talks about it's better to give than to receive. I think that's true with love too. Like, there's this movie. Wow. I'm just going on tangent to tangent to tangent, but there's a movie called, I think it's called Lost in Translation. Not Lost in Translation. It's a different Nicolas Cage movie, I feel like. Was he also in Lost in Translation? I don't remember. I do remember liking the movie Lost in Translation, but I do not remember what it's about. And I don't want to necessarily like market it because it's been a really long time. But there's another movie. Oh, maybe it was called Adaptation. Dang. Okay, there's a period of time in my life where I was into kind of like sort of weirdish movies. And I don't know if I would like that movie if I watched it now, but I think it was Nicolas Cage. I feel like he played a twin. Okay, I was not planning on talking about this at all, and this could be all completely wrong information. Anyways, all I know is what I remember from I think that movie is that he loved someone, but they didn't love him back. I don't remember what the story was. I would have to watch it again or read the summary online or something, but he makes some kind of statement about how he doesn't regret loving that person because it's better to love than to even receive love. To be able to show love to someone is a huge blessing, is basically what he was saying. Like, that was a gift that he was able to love this person, even though they never loved him back. And so that just stuck with me, although I can't remember anything else about the movie right now. So anyway, I just think showing love to others, whatever that looks like for you in your life, however God's leading you to love people, I think it can be done in all sorts of ways, in creative ways. It can also be done by liking their reel. I'm not saying we shouldn't like people's reels because it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that, but like, I'm just saying we shouldn't maybe put so much weight on like Instagram because it's just very little effort. But also sometimes I'm like, it is very little effort, so why aren't more people liking stuff? I'm just like a big liker. I'm kind of an over liker, which almost like makes it weird because then when I don't like something, I feel like it's more obvious. Like someone might be like, well, why didn't Tracy like this one? I don't know. Probably nobody's thinking that. But anyways, Instagram is so weird. I was off social media for 10 years. I've said this many times. So I've only been back on it for a few years, and there's still things about it that are just like funny to me. And I'm always like, this is so interesting how we all are on this random thing that never used to exist. Like literally the first time anyone ever told me about anything social media-y was when I worked at Starbucks in college, and this guy I worked with was trying to explain Friendster to me, which was like the first, I don't know if it was the very first, but it was kind of like the MySpace before MySpace. So it was a pretty long time ago. And he was explaining what it was. And I was just like, that sounds like the nerdiest thing I've ever heard. Like, I thought it sounded so nerdy. And the guy I worked with was kind of nerdy. I liked him, but I was just like, yeah, that is something he would do. I remember when I very first finally went on MySpace. Then when MySpace got big, I still thought that was really nerdy. And I was like, why would anyone want to be on this virtual thing? Like, this is so weird. And so the first time I ever like filled out a MySpace, I did it in this jokey way. Like, you're supposed to put, you know, your favorite song, your favorite artist, your favorite blah, blah, blah. That was like on your profile. And I think I just wrote this long letter, and I just connected it with all the topics. So I never answered any of those topics. I just like wrote this long letter because I was just like, I'm gonna do my own thing with this because this is so weird. So anyway, yeah, it took me a while. And then I got really obsessed with Facebook and Twitter until I eventually deleted everything, didn't have any social media for 10 years, and then got back on Instagram mostly because of dance classes and looking at teachers' stuff and what classes I wanted to take and trying to connect with the dance community. And now I'm crazy obsessed with Instagram like I used to be with Facebook. So here we are. Anyways, back to Toy Story 4, because I had another point to make about that. So there's the creepy baby. Okay, back to the creepy baby. She wanted to get the voice box from Woody. She was like, ooh, your voice box, it works so well. Hee 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 hee, you know, and she's really creepy. I'm just like, so literally I was watching that movie in my sitting house alone, and I was kind of like, should I be watching this movie alone? Am I going to be scared tonight? Like, it was the most scary of all of them, I think. But yeah, so what's crazy is she's been mean to the real Toy Story characters like Woody and the friends the whole movie. She's just been thinking about herself, and because she's thinking about herself, she's mean to them. She's like, you know, being sneaky, she's deceiving, all this stuff. Like, she's a terrible character. Like, we don't like her. But towards the end, I don't know, she somehow manipulated Woody into giving her his voice box because his person, Andy, doesn't even play with him anymore anyway, so who cares? And even though she was being manipulative, if I'm remembering the scene correctly, I think she was being manipulative. It's been a little while now since I watched it, but Woody still got compassion for her, even though like she was doing it for, you know, very selfish intentions and whatever. And he ended up giving her his voice box or something. And as all the Toy Story friends were heading out of the antique store, finally, one of them was like, oh, look, the little girl is finally playing with her, because that was her dream for this one little girl that always came into the antique store to want to play with her. And when she heard the voice come out, like the voice box thing, the automated voice come out of the doll, she did notice it. And so she went and picked it up and was like, oh, and was kind of playing with it because it had this like voice box. And then it seemed like, oh, she's finally going to get her kid. Everybody wants a kid. That's the thing. Like, you know, you don't want to be like a lost toy out in the world, although some people had fun being that in that movie as well. But you all want a kid. You want a kid who loves you, who like really loves you. And so there was like this moment, and all the other Toy Story characters were looking, and they were actually looking very fondly. Like, oh, look, even though she was mean to them the whole movie, they were still like happy for her that she found a kid finally, because she was so sad about it. And then the kid just tossed her to the side. Like her grandma or someone was like, oh, do you want that toy? You can take that. And she was like, nah. And she just like throws it to the side, and they're like, oh, and everybody's heartbroken. Even though this little baby doll, creepy baby doll, was mean to everybody the whole movie, they still felt bad for her that she was sad about not getting a kid and like not getting the love she wanted, even with the voice box. And I was like, man, that touched me. I'm like, wow, the fact that these toys, these characters are so soft in their hearts that they would still feel compassion for her, even though she treated them badly the whole entire time. And then they ended up saying they would try to help her and bring her back to like Andy or Bonnie or something. So she ends up on the adventure with them, and they're actually trying to help her the whole time. And at the end of the movie, they're like trying to help her. And then she ends up finding this other kid, and they help her to like get with that kid. And like, I was like, wow, talk about loving your enemies. That's crazy. Like, that is a crazy cool way of displaying that in this kid's movie. I really thought that was so interesting, because I don't know if I could do that. I'd be like, screw you, girl. You were mean to me the whole time. You know, see ya. Haha, guess your voice box didn't work. I'm just kidding. I probably wouldn't be like that. Hopefully I wouldn't be like that. But like, that would be the natural instinct. So I was very inspired by these little toy characters. I was like, you know, you guys are cool. I want to be like that too. So yeah. And then, yeah. And also Woody gave away his voice box. He also gave away his sheriff badge to the little cowgirl that wasn't a sheriff. Because that was the girl that Bonnie wanted to play with the most, because they were all Bonnie's toys now. Because remember, they became Bonnie's toys. Okay, yeah, I got that confused for a second. I said something about Andy, but they all became Bonnie's toys at the end of Toy Story 3. And so they were all getting back to Bonnie. They were telling the creepy baby doll that she could come back to Bonnie too, but then she ended up finding this like lost kid at the carnival, and then ends up with that kid, and that kid really loved her, so it was like good. Anyways, but Bonnie really liked playing mostly with the cowgirl, and more than Woody. And so Woody just gave his sheriff badge to the cowgirl so that she could be the sheriff, because Bonnie liked playing with her and making her the sheriff. And so it's just like so selfless. Like Woody's like, it's okay. My time is done. Oh, because, okay, total spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen Toy Story 4, fast forward through this. But because Woody found Bo Peep at the carnival or something. Bo Peep has been a lost toy for a while. She's like this independent woman surviving on her own out in the wild without a kid for years. It's kind of funny how they like make her character. And she really wants Woody to like stay with her and like be out in the wild with her, be like a lost toy with her. And he feels like he needs to go back to Bonnie because he's such a loyal person. But he realizes Bonnie isn't really as into him anymore, and like he could give his voice box to this little baby doll, and he could give his sheriff badge to the cowgirl, and then he could be with Bo Peep and they can have fun together, and maybe that's where he's needed now. And so they do all these good things for other toys as they're like out in the world being lost toys. And so everyone just like found their purpose and found joy, even if they were getting rejected somewhere. It's actually because they were supposed to be somewhere else. That's something else God's speaking to me about a lot. Like, Tracy, you feel rejected in this place, or you feel rejected with these people, but like, wait till God takes you to the next situation he wants you at where you're accepted. Like, just, it's okay to be rejected by certain things or people. Sometimes it's because you're supposed to be somewhere else, and maybe God is transitioning you out of that. Or maybe he's just keeping you there and he's humbling you for a while, and he's teaching you how to endure and keep going even when you're feeling rejection. I mean, that's something God's been teaching me for a long time. Like, I'm like, why isn't anything I'm doing successful? Why am I not a better dancer? Like, you know, and God's teaching me how to be humble and trust his timing and keep going even when I'm not getting all the praise or the money or things that I wish were already happening by now. He's teaching me how to just be satisfied in my relationship with God, in the love he's giving me, and not put so much weight on everything that's happening around me or everything that's happening as a result of what I'm doing. And so, yeah, I am growing in that way. What else was I going to say? We're already at an hour. Since this show's over, I have been still practicing dance 3 times a week, working on my turns, stretching, and I've been excited to kind of work on my own choreo because I'm like, yeah, I want to do like a pop-up class or something. But as I may have talked about before, making up choreo isn't something I can easily force myself to do. It's very much like a certain song just hits me a certain way, and then I feel like God just like downloads choreo to me, and it's just like there. And I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? I feel like a crazy choreographer with how fast I came up with that. But if someone's just like, can you choreograph to this song? I'm like, girl, I can't even pick a song and make myself choreograph to it. Like, it literally has to be God dropping it down to me. And lately, a few different people asked me to choreograph songs, which is so weird because, like, I'm like, how many times have you seen me choreograph to a song? Like, it's been like 3 times. Why people would think I could just like come up with choreography to any song they're into right now. These are mostly like non-dancers that are sending me ideas. Like, can you choreograph to this song? Or it would be so cool if you choreographed to this song. And I'm like, yeah, that would be cool. I wish I could do that. Like, I wish I could choreograph to a song that you care about. Like, I can barely choreograph to a song I care about. It literally has to be a song that like God cares about or something. Cause like, I can't just like make it up. So anyway, there's been a few of those recently, and I did listen to them, but mostly felt like I don't feel a connection to this. I don't feel a choreography coming out of me. But there was one song. I'm not going to share what it is yet. This person will know maybe if they remember that they did this, but one of my friends did send a song, and it was very powerful. When I first listened to it, I was like, wow, this is like an intense song. But as I've listened to it more, I'm like, dang, this is a cool song. I really like this song. And so I have been sort of playing around with choreography to that song, but every time I play around with choreography, it's like for the stage. This is like a whole piece that needs to be on a stage. Like, this is not little choreography for like a class. Even though that's what I want to do. I want to do little choreography for a class. I want to do another class. I'm like, I need to make money. I need to like start getting better at teaching classes and like start making money with teaching classes. Like, God is like, stop trying to make money with the stuff I'm telling you to do. I'm going to provide your money, and you just do whatever you're supposed to do. Literally, he's always telling me that. And I'm like, okay, because it doesn't seem like you're giving me choreography for like a little class, but maybe you will later. But anyways, I keep just wanting to play around with this song, but it's like this whole vision, and there's like different characters, and there's different stuff happening on the stage. And I've never created choreography on the stage in like as big of a way as I'm seeing it in my head for this song. And I'm like, I don't even know how to do that. Like, I'm getting these ideas, but I'm like, I don't know. I've never really done that where like these people are doing this choreography at this time, and then these people are doing this choreography, and it's kind of overlapping, and then these people come in. Like, I haven't done all of that. I have choreographed a group of people before for a show, kind of. I mean, it was for the youth group that I worked at. I think I talked about this last time or 2 times ago, but it was only like 8 people, and it wasn't like there was a lot going on at the same time, maybe a little bit. But I also had help from someone who was very trained in dance. Of course, I am a little more trained in dance now than I was back then. But I'm just like, man, God, if you're giving me this idea, I know it could come together, but I don't know when I'm going to do it. I don't know. But I guess I'm just going to keep playing around with that, because every time I try another song or I try to think of something for a class, it like is not happening. Of course, it's only been the first week that I've been trying to do this. So, I mean, I'll keep trying. But anyway, so maybe there's going to be a big stage piece in the future. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to keep it a little bit secret for now because I don't want to give away what the song is or anything. Anyways, something else that happened recently, I posted this story on my Instagram. It was a girl, like a youngish girl, dancing with her little sister. Her little sister was behind her, and they were dancing like so beautifully, like kind of this lyrical dance. And the caption or the words on the reel said something like younger sister following her older sister in dance or something like that. And it was so cute because like the older girl obviously was like experienced, was doing a great job dancing this lyrical piece. But the little girl, you know, she's very young. So she's like trying her best, but she's just kind of like copying her sister. And there were a couple moves she really got well, but most of the time she was like behind a couple beats and she's just copying her sister. But it was so beautiful watching how her sister, like the younger sister, looked up to the older sister and how they were dancing together and how pretty it looked, even though the little girl was like not on time with anything and was just copying her. But like there was just something about it that drew me in. I was like, this is really beautiful to watch. I watched it many times actually. And I started to cry because I was thinking and praying and I was like, God, that's like me. I'm like the little girl that like doesn't know what she's doing and I'm just following the person in front of me, because it reminded me of when I used to take this really advanced lyrical class. Some of you might know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say the name, but I used to take this really advanced lyrical class for a while and I was not even going to go because it looked so hard. But some of my friends were like, come on, no, Tracy, you should come. And I'm always grateful for friends that encourage me, even when I'm like, I could never do that. And the first time I took that class, I was like that little girl. I was in the back and I was just like multiple beats behind everything, but I was just following people in front. I mean, there was so many directional changes and different kinds of turns and stuff that I didn't really know. And like, it was long. It was a long combo. And I was like, dang, I mean, I had fun, but I was like, man, I'm all over the place. But that teacher really encouraged me to keep coming. And I kept coming. And eventually, I mean, eventually I took that class for a long time. I'm like, was it a year or 2 years or something? And eventually I didn't need to just look at people. The first time that I felt like I had the choreo on my own, I was so proud of myself. I'd been to the class so many times before that happened. But anyway, I had this moment where I was picturing myself how I used to be like that, like the little girl in the video. And I was kind of crying. I was like, God, that's me. I'm just trying my best, but it's so beautiful. I'm like, but I know it's so beautiful to you, God, even though I'm like that little girl who doesn't know what she's doing. And I'm just like following the people in front of me. And I felt like God was just like, wait, what? God was like, that is not you, Tracy. You're like in the front. You know the choreography. What are you talking about? And I was like, oh, you're right. That isn't me anymore. But that was me. And I felt like God's like, yeah, that was you, but that's not you anymore. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, I guess. Like, it was just funny how I really saw myself in the little girl. And God was like, girl, no, you've grown so much. Like, that's not you anymore. And so that was just like a cool moment. I mean, honestly, if I went back to that crazy lyrical class, it might be me again because I haven't been in a while. But God was just like trying to encourage me because I was just like getting all sad. It was like sad in a good way, but it was still kind of sad. Like, that's little me who doesn't ever know what she's doing. And God's like, what are you talking about? Like, you've been doing this for a while. You're actually getting like a lot better and your people follow you sometimes. So what are you talking about? So that was just like a cool moment. Couple more quick things. Okay, so this was funny. I don't know why I wrote this down and felt like I needed to talk about it. The types of things I write down in the week to talk about on the podcast are kind of funny to me sometimes. But I was cooking, so I'm house sitting, and sometimes they have these like microwavable meals, like the healthier kinds or from Trader Joe's or whatever. And there was one that was Suki's chicken coconut curry, which was really good, I think, if I'm remembering. I'm like, I think I really liked it. Anyway, I was making that. I was putting that in the microwave, heavy cooking that I was doing. And the box, I don't know why I was reading the box. I don't know. Do you remember when you're like young and you would like read the back of cereal boxes and that was like the interesting thing you did when you were eating breakfast before like phones existed? Anyways, or before cell phones existed. Suki's chicken coconut curry. So I don't know why I was reading the box. Probably because I was reading like the amount of minutes I had to put it in the microwave for. But there was a part that said, there are two types of people who love Indian cuisine and the people who just haven't tried it yet. Come into my kitchen and fall in love. And I just thought that was like such good marketing. It's like, there are two types of people who love Indian cuisine and the people who just haven't tried it yet. I was like, dang, that's good. Like, my degree is in marketing. I think I talked about that before. I thought it was communications because apparently I'm so old now I can't even remember what I studied in college. But my degree is in marketing, and I do appreciate good marketing. So there are two types of people who love Indian cuisine and the people who just haven't tried it yet. I was like, dang, that's like about God, too. Everything's about God. But it's like, there are two types of people. I'm like, people who love God and people who just don't know God yet. Like, because I feel like people who don't love God, they just like don't realize who he really is and like all the love he pours out onto us and how amazing he is. Like, I just think the people that don't love him just don't know him. And sometimes I feel like I don't know him well enough. Like, I need to get to know him more, because sometimes I was just listening to a podcast this morning from Tim Keller. It was called A Friend in God. Something about how God is our friend. It was a really good episode, good sermon, if you want to check it out on the Tim Keller podcast. He's a pastor. He's not alive anymore, but he was a pastor in New York, and he has some really good and deep sometimes sermons. But this one was about how God is our friend. And I was going to say a point about what, I don't remember what I was going to say, but basically the way he was describing God as our friend was like really, really cool. And I was like, yeah, wow, God is amazing. Like, I love God, and it is so cool that he's just like our friend, and we can have like a real relationship with him and talk to him about stuff and share our feelings. And like, yeah, it was just reminding me how happy I am in my friendship with God. Like, I already am, but just the sermon was solidifying of that. And so I was thinking, yeah, there's two types of people who love God and people who just don't know him yet. And so I do feel very called to like share about my relationship with God, share about God, because I think people maybe don't view him in the way that's like accurate. And so I feel like I'm supposed to share my personal experience with God, which may not look exactly like everybody else's, and it doesn't need to be exactly like everybody else's. But I do believe the God of the Bible, that Jesus is God. And I do feel called to share that and tell people the good news of that, which I really think it is good news, and it's not something to be ashamed of, and it's not something that's bad or going to make life bad or something. Like, God is love. He's truth. Like, he's amazing. Like, he has this book for us, the Bible, so that we know how to live. Otherwise, we're just like lost toys. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. Oh, and speaking of the Bible, I think this is the last thing I'm going to say. I know I was trying to memorize James. Those of you that have been watching this the whole time or listening, I am still technically working through James. I think I'm on to James 3. So James in the Bible has 5 chapters. I memorized the first 2. It's been a while since I've said them, so I probably couldn't say them right this second. But I sort of switched it up and started memorizing Galatians 5. I don't know why. I just like read it one day, maybe in my Bible plan or something. Or I don't know why I read it. Maybe it was the verse of the day. Sometimes the verse of the day like really strikes me on my phone. Like the U version app, YOU version app is like the most popular Bible app. It's a really good Bible app, and you can get the verse of the day every day. You can actually get the verse, like, it can be on your phone, like just like sitting on your phone every day on your first like screen, on your home screen. So I have that. And so I think maybe it was just like a verse of the day that stood out to me. And then sometimes I'll click like read the full chapter. And so it was Galatians 5. It's actually just the last half of Galatians 5:13-26. I'm not going to say it right now because I didn't plan on doing this and I haven't said it in a few days, but I am trying to memorize. I don't have the whole thing memorized yet, but I'm trying to memorize Galatians 5:13-26. It's about living by the Spirit instead of living by the flesh. And basically like, the concept is that there's a spiritual battle going on inside of us every day. That's like the spirit versus the flesh. Like, what is the Holy Spirit leading you to do? What is your flesh leading you to do? Which is generally like the opposite. So this passage in the Bible talks about how those two things are in conflict with each other, and how it's freedom to follow the Spirit, and we don't have to think about laws and all these rules if we're just following the Spirit, because he's going to lead us into all the good things, versus the flesh is going to lead us into all this like sin and the bad things. And I just really like the way that it's worded. So I'm working on memorizing that. So at some point I'll try to say that on here. It's not as long as all the James stuff, so it won't take up like the whole podcast, but it's just like 13-26. It's like 13 verses. So anyway, that's kind of it. Now I'm actually finally getting a little hot, but I did last this whole time without turning my car on. So that was cool. Anyway, thanks for listening. I think that's all we have for today, and I will have more for you next time. Bye.